First get into yo-yoing, you learn this pretty basic hold called a green triangle. It looks like this. And it's pretty simple to get into, but there's 1,000 different ways to do these. And every time you learn a new green triangle, you have to kind of approach it a little differently because the past knowledge you had is changed. There's just so many different options, variations that can go to get into these green triangles. For instance, you can do them, I'm doing a trick and I just pluck one string and I land in that. Or a little harder one, you can reject the yo-yo, the string, and land in it like that. Now, there's this one green triangle I've been working on, and it's giving me so much trouble. It's so radically different from anything I've done that my mind just had such a hard time grasping it. I had to slow down the video, I had to watch someone in person do it, I had to sit down and actually think about it, what's going on. It's moving on a different plane, I have to whip it, and I have to cross my arms all in like a split second. I didn't understand it. This is how it looks. You probably won't see the complexity in it, but it's a very hard trick. It looks like this. That little whipping movement with the crossing of my arms on that horizontal plane. My brain's so used to doing things vertically, always doing vertical green triangles. Anyways, what occurred, what had to happen was a radical shift in my thinking. And I'm currently reading this book by Covey called The Third Alternative. Same guy that wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he says this, he says, no matter what approach we take to our problems, natural consequences will follow. War begets war. Victims become dependent. Reality crushes people in denial. Cynics contribute nothing. And if we keep doing the same things we've always done, hoping that this time the results will be different, we're not facing reality. Albert Einstein reportedly said, the significant problems we have cannot be solved at the same level of thinking with which we created them. He goes on to say, to solve our most difficult problems, we must radically change our thinking. And just like me with the green triangles, a radical shift had to occur. They say that on average, I believe it's somewhere 60 to 70,000 of the same thoughts go through our head every day. And how many of those are the same? The same anxieties, the same worries that we're faced with, the problems that we approach with the same knowledge of sometimes the past. A crazy thing to me, and this says something for being able to adapt, but being able to change with the times and to kind of put off that old way of thinking so you can have new thoughts and radically shift your mindset. I've went and talked to people and presented the intermittent fasting. And a lot of people have they've grown up bodybuilding in the 90s, in the early 2000s, and they have that mindset of, I have to eat 6 meals a day. If I don't eat 6 meals a day, I'm not going to be burning a lot of calories, my metabolism is going to slow down, I'm going to go catabolic, my muscles are going to deteriorate and eat themselves. And I'm like, hold on, man. Let's look at a different way of thinking. You see, the 16-hour fast, 8-hour window of eating for intermittent fasting sounds absurd when you come at it from this old school knowledge, this old way of thinking. You haven't really shifted your mindset. You haven't brought any new change to this idea. Now, there's a lot of things like this, guys. There's a lot of problems in life. The old thinking that saturated fat was so terrible for you and that it's going to cause heart disease. Well, that's debatable. That study was done in the 50s by a guy that everyone just accepted as to be truth. But nowadays, saturated fat's great. We want to eat a ton of it in coconut oil and stuff. People are putting butter in their coffee. The mindset has shifted. So I ask that as you go through life and you see a problem that you normally face with the same mindset, that you're having trouble figuring out how to get a certain outcome. Just like the green triangle, I had to sit down and look at it. I really let my mind work it out. I had to read about it. I had to watch someone else do it. I had to slow down the video. to radically shift that pattern of thought and how I normally do things.